Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show, Saturday, June 12th. Ian Cameron, Conor Mack. We are ready to break down this Saturday MLB slate. Let's get to it. We've got, actually, yesterday was a decent day. I hate the fact that the best bet came up short with Baltimore first five, but had some nice winners at a plus price. We had Miami, we had San Francisco getting it done at a big plus price against Washington, which was good to see. We saw the Blue Jays cash one half of my first five full game split, the bullpen implosion. We'll get to that when we talk Jays later, but not a bad day overall. The Jack of the Day went 2-0. Actually, Muncy hit one as well for Conor, but the main ones were Trey Mancini for Conor and Jose Altuve for me. So really good calls with that yesterday. So pretty solid day overall. Let's turn the page, though, to today. We've got San Francisco and Washington. First game up, 2:05 Eastern. Kevin Gausman and Eric Fedde on the mound here. Gausman and the Giants, about $1.45 road favorites, 6 the total, shaded to the under. This is a first five look for me with San Francisco again today. You could go a -145, -150 money line if you want some better value. You could go with the minus half a run, get it, and trim that down to even money. I wouldn't talk you out of that either. It's definitely a pitching edge here, you would think, for Kevin Gausman and this Giants team. Giants have a great road record. I think people forget about that. Not only are they 39-23, but they've played really good baseball on the road. Of course, they shut out the Nationals last night in that game. Certainly would rate Kevin Gausman a much better pitcher this season than Eric Fedde. Eric Fedde's been good at times, but he's not exactly trustworthy or reliable one start to the next. One concern is there are some good numbers for some of these Nationals against Gausman. Turner in particular, 5 for 13, 383 average against him in the past. So you do get a little concerned about that. But again, with these Gausman numbers, how many times have we said that? You're going to go up and down his game logs this year, and you're going to see guys that have good numbers against him. But that was a different Kevin Gausman. He was not good before this year. Baltimore, he had a tough time. He never really settled in anywhere. This year, it's a different Gausman. So you have to take those past numbers where players have hit him hard with a grain of salt, because it's not a guarantee they're going to be able to do that this year, because nobody's been able to square up against Gausman this year, who's been 1.27 ERA. Doesn't get much better than that. So San Francisco for me once again today, first five full game split. What do you think here, Conor?
Yeah, I'm going to have a small play. The Giants, Scherzer kind of getting hurt, but DeSclafani, as he pitched well. So Scherzer, no Scherzer, Giants might have won that game like that, 1-0, but that was great. I just worry here. Gausman hasn't really got hit, and not that the Nats will do it, and Fedde's on the mound. I'm with you. I'm going to take a little piece. I don't love doubleheaders, but here I'll do a first five half run with the Giants. They've been too good with me in first fives, so I'll take a first five half a run, chop down this price around 150 down. Fedde's been sidelined. He had COVID. I don't know if he had it, but he's been on the IL. He hasn't had a start since May 16th. And I've never liked him. I've always kind of faded him. He's a guy who probably won't go more than 5 innings. So give me the Giants here. Continue to roll. First five, I'm with you. Half a run here.
All right, next up, we've got the New York Yankees, Philadelphia Phillies, interleague action. Jameson Taillon and Vinny Velasquez on the mound here. Yankees -110, road favorites, 9 the total, shaded to the under. I'm not a big Taillon fan, but and I know they had a really, really stinging loss in the final game of that series. They really should have swept the Twins. I mean, they should have won that final game. It was a blow-up implosion in the ninth inning from Aroldis Chapman, basically coughing up the game, spitting the bit in the ninth inning. Otherwise, they should have won that game, the finale against the Twins. But still, even with that loss, this Yankees lineup has had a good week, very good week offensively. They've started to really get that lineup cranked up quite a bit, which we know they're capable of. I think they keep it going here against Vince Velasquez. I think they can do some damage. He actually hasn't done too terribly against the Yankees in the past, but I think this Yankees lineup in good form can do damage. I think the Phillies could strike for some runs against Taillon, who again has not exactly had a great season by any stretch. 5.09 ERA. You look at the numbers against Taillon in the past. We've got 6 for 10. Odubel Herrera, Rhys Hoskins 1 for 4. Bryce Harper, not bad, 2 for 8. Real Muto and Brad Miller have hit him. Again, a little bit of a limited sample size there, but don't necessarily trust Taillon a whole lot. But I do like the Yankees at this price. I do think I'll sprinkle a little bit first 5 in full game on the Yankees here. It's a pretty low number considering the Yankees are still a little bit better of a team and better form right now than the Philadelphia Phillies. So a little Yankee first 5 full game, and I like over the total here. Total currently in this game sitting at it looks like 9, pretty much across the board. What do you like here, Connor? Yankees, Phils.
Yeah, our guy Vinny Velasquez, after pitching unreal and kind of shoving it to us, has come back to Vinny here his last 2 starts. His ERA is almost 12. I got to go with the Yankees too a little bit here. I think it's kind of cheap. I think take it first 5. You can go half a run here, get plus money. And I think full game at minus 115 is pretty cheap. I agree with you. The team total for the Yankees at 4.5. I think it's like minus 120. They've been swinging the bats better. Stanton's back in the lineup. Judge, they're kind of getting healthy a little bit. We talked about. So I'd lean the full game over 9. I don't know if I want to do a triple up, but I definitely like the Yankees here today against the Phils.
All right, next game on the slate here, we've got Kansas City, Oakland, Jackson Kovar, James Caprillion on the mound here. Oakland minus 160 total, 9 shaded to the over pretty much across the board in this one. Don't have much of an opinion on this one. I took a shot with the youngster making his major league debut earlier this week, Jackson Kovar, and he got ripped in the first inning against the Angels and didn't last long. So I'm going to have to sit back and see him pitch his second start and see if we get any improvement before I buy in again on him. On the flip side, Caprillion, definitely a regression candidate. He's been very good, but we saw him get roughed up a little bit his last start. I'm not comfortable laying a price with him or Oakland, really, at this kind of price range, to be honest with you. They've been a little bit flighty in recent games, both their pitching and their offense. I do lean over. Like if Jackson Kovar doesn't get any better than he did in his first start, the game could go over the total. Here, and it's been bumped up 8.5 to 9 here. The question is, you got to expect he's going to work on some shit. I mean, that was terrible for him. He didn't even get out of the first inning against the Angels. The winds is blowing out pretty significantly, though, today here in Oakland, it looks like. So that is definitely something that could enhance the hitting on both sides. You do have a wind blowing out to right center field in Oakland today. So that might explain why the total's been hit and been bet up a little bit. So maybe I lean that way, but probably a game I'm just going to stay off because I do think there's got to be room for improvement for Jackson Kovar. Can't get much worse than how it went in his debut against the Angels. Connor, what do you think here? KC, Oakland.
Yeah, 2 teams that have just kind of drove me nuts lately betting on them. So I'm going to stay away as well. Yeah, the wind's blowing out. Kovar, this guy's a touted prospect. He's got good stuff. I think he pitches better as well, but the wind blowing out, like you mentioned, I just don't love it. And it's about bumped up to 9. Caprillion, I don't want him right now at minus 160. He's been pretty good, but 2 teams that just can't be trusted right now. Without the wind blowing, I kind of thought Kovar would pitch a better game. I looked at the first 5 under 5, but with the wind, and I'm just going to stay off here. Team totals 2 over 3.5. For the Royals, minus 140 almost, and the A's over 4.5, minus 120. So I want nothing to do with it. I'm going to stay off as well.
All right, going to stay off this one. Next up, we've got the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. Steven Matz, Nick Pivetta, the pitching matchup here in this one. We've got the Blue Jays here, the Red Sox minus 115 to minus 120. Slight home favorites, 9.5 the total. Pretty much across the board. Just a brutal loss for the Jays. Yes, thank goodness I had that one split up between the first 5 innings and the full game. But another problem with this Blue Jay bullpen, it continues to be an issue. That is a brutal loss because they got a great start again from Ross Stripling. You couldn't have asked for more out of him. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. goes off again with a home run. What else is new there? The offense does enough. Although the offense also did strand a shit ton of base runners in the second half of that game. So that's the problem. When you're at Fenway Park and you have a lead, you got to add on. You got to tack on runs, insurance runs. They're important, and the Blue Jays couldn't get any of them. And then Boston hung around, and the bullpen imploded for the Blue Jays, and they came back to win 6-5. I did have the over in that game, though, 9.5. So that did come in as well. Matz and Pivetta here, we'll have to see how it goes. Matz, he's had an up and down season for the most part. He's had a good start to the season. Then he had a little bit of a rough patch, and he's been a little bit better lately. Although the Red Sox have hit him pretty decently. You look at some of these numbers: Vasquez, Bobby Dahlbeck, Hunter Renfroe, JD Martinez. There's been some guys that have hit him a little bit. So we'll see if that continues today. Nick Pivetta on the other side for the Red Sox, continues to have a pretty solid season. I lean to Boston here, 3.78 ERA. I lean to Pivetta and the Red Sox a little bit here, but more than anything, I'll probably stick over the total again. 9.5. You've got a Boston bullpen that's really pitched a lot the last few games. They've had to, not a deep start for Garrett Richards yesterday. He labored significantly in that game. Boston's bullpen's been used. Toronto's bullpen ain't any good right now. So even if, these two pitchers are respectable early on, you could get late runs, a live over, in-game over. This is one of those games that it makes sense maybe to look at a live over if this game starts up 1-1 or 2-1 after the first 4 or 5 innings, because you could get bullpen shenanigans, I think, today with both of these teams. So I do like over 9.5. I lean to Boston as well. Certainly, you got to wonder if the Jays could pick themselves up off the floor. That was a game, and they're trying to catch Boston, and you lose the game in the fashion you did last night. That was very, very frustrating for the Jays, and we'll see if they have it in them to bounce back, the mental fortitude to do that. What do you think here, Conor? Toronto, Boston?
Yeah, Steven Matz, my man. He's just hot and cold. I don't know what we'll get from him. He's got the stuff, just not always there. And Pivetta continues to pitch well, 6-1. He labored his last start out. He'd even go 5 innings. But I think he's been good here at Fenway Park. I lean the Red Sox here. I don't know if I want to bet at first 5, maybe take a half a run against Mats. Like you mentioned, Vasquez, JD Martinez. Vasquez has 2 home runs. Kike has a homer off him. Pretty good numbers. Only 6 at-bats, but decent numbers. I like the Red Sox. I just don't know if I want to go full game or first 5. The team total too is -120. So that's what I'm looking at in the Red Sox game. So we're there.
All right. Next up on the slate, we've got believe it is the Mariners and Cleveland Indians. Yes, it is. Yusei Kikuchi, Tristan McKenzie, the pitching matchup here. Cleveland in this one, right around about a -115 to -120 home favorite. Total 8 across the board. I'm disappointed by this price. I thought Cleveland might be -130 or something, but the odds makers have adjusted to this pitching matchup. They've adjusted to the fact that, Tristan McKenzie's not really trustworthy. He's been bounced back and forth between the minor leagues and this Cleveland team. He's had walk issues. He's had command issues. He's had not a shred of consistency from the start of the season. 6.26 ERA. I do like Kikuchi's matchup here against Cleveland. I really do. 4.05 ERA. Even he's had a couple starts where you scratch your head and say what happened there. But I think this is a great matchup. They don't hit lefties as well, Cleveland. They haven't seen Yusei Kikuchi a whole lot. Seattle first 5 was obviously a terrible bet for me last night. What a horrible start for Justin Dunn. He was done all right, done like dinner early in that game against the.
I had the under. I pushed. That was his shoulder. That's what I was worried about with that. Yeah, coming off the IL, and it showed. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And he clearly was not fully right following that little stint on the IL. This is different, though. I mean, Kikuchi, I think he can go out there, pitch well. I'm coming back to the well here. Seattle first 5 innings. A smaller bet on the full game, a little bit more on the first 5, because Seattle is another one of those bullpens where sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. So Seattle first 5, I'm going to get in on that again, even after yesterday's horrible outing for Dunn. What do you think here, Conor? Seattle, Cleveland?
Yeah, my guy Kikuchi. We talk about Steven Matz, another guy who can look really, really good and can get just absolutely tattooed. I want nothing to do with this one. Both these teams just not appeal to me. Kikuchi, even just a small, short plus price, no way. And I'm not going to take Tristan McKenzie. 1-3 with over a 6 ERA as a favorite, almost -120 here. I'd be with you. If I were to bet this one, I'd be on the Mariners, but I'm staying way away from this one.
All right, next up, we've got the Chicago White Sox, Detroit Tigers, Dylan Cease, Jose Urena, the pitching matchup here. White Sox -180 road favorites. Pretty significant here, road favorites in this one, -180 to -200. The total 8.5 is now up to 9.5. We've seen a full run bounce up at the total here in this game. So we've seen a big move here toward the over in this one. Dylan Cease, though, has been pretty solid this season for the White Sox. A 3.36 ERA for him. We'll see if he can keep it going. I'm not a big fan, of course, of, as you know, because we've talked about him all season, of Jose Urena here for the Detroit Tigers. Not exactly someone that I've had as a bet on pitcher. He's been bet against for me much of the season. We'll see if that continues here against this White Sox lineup. Although the Tigers are a scrappy bunch. I mean, they pushed the White Sox to the limit last night. They tied it up late, forced extra innings, and then ended up falling short in that game against the White Sox. But valiant effort from this Tigers team. And that's why I'm reluctant to lay this big of a price with the White Sox here in this game. I'd probably prefer other ways maybe to bet it, maybe go team total instead for the White Sox in this game. But Tim Anderson, 3 for 5 against Jose Urena in the past. Urena, again, not the greatest ERA. So a game where it's not one I feel strongly about, just a lean here for the White Sox team total in this one. What do you think here, Conor? White Sox Tigers?
Yeah, not one that I love either. White Sox, huge price here on the road. Cease has been pretty good, and he's had a great career against the Tigers, like 7-0 with an under 2 ERA. I was looking up. Tigers have been scrappy. Urania has not been good, but he's gotten better a little bit lately because his start was horrible. His ERA was like 12. He's got it down to 4. Jonathan Scope, there's a few Tigers that have hit Cease a little bit, 5 for 13 with a couple homers. He's been hitting a little bit lately. Just a game I don't love. I looked at the first 5 under 5, but I can't trust Urania. Just a tough one. They lean White Sox maybe a half a run here, but still that'll bring you down. It'd still be minus 125. A game I'm going to stay off.
All right, we got Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Next game on the slate here. It is Chad Kuhl against Corbin Burns on the mound here. In this one, we've got Milwaukee minus 270, home favorite, 7.5. The total shaded to the under. Brewers run line. I mentioned that on yesterday's show. They got it done with Woodruff against Chase DeYoung, and the Brewers get the. Brewers are playing great baseball. One of the hottest teams in the majors right now. Their run is now something like, I believe, 15-4 in their last 19 games. That's pretty damn good. It's been a great run of baseball right now for Milwaukee, so I have no intention of going against them, especially with this Pittsburgh team, which has now lost 5 in a row heading into this game. Corbin Burns on the mound here for the Brewers, 1.97 ERA this season. He's had just a very, very good season overall here for this Brewers team, 1.97 ERA, 2.4 ERA this season here at home. We'll see if he can keep that going. Chad Kuhl, 5.61 ERA this season, 6.19 ERA on the road this year for Kuhl, which isn't very good. And all 4 games have gone over the total here for Chad Kuhl on the road. I'm tempted to go over to the 7.5. It's a light total. The one thing that Corbin Burns will do is sometimes give up the long ball, which is concerning. I just don't know if Pittsburgh's that team to take advantage of it. So I lean to the over. I lean to the Brewers run line again, but the price is a little bit higher than it was yesterday. The run line's getting up to the, minus 150 almost now to lay a run and a half. So, the value's not great, but if you're willing to lay the juice, I wouldn't talk anyone out of Brewers minus 1.5 here. They're on a roll. It's hot versus cold in this matchup, and the Brewers should be able to get it done. What do you think, Conor? Pittsburgh, Milwaukee.
Yeah, Burns, I think his K-prop, I always look at him when he's on the mound. Look at that today. Can Kuhl pitch well? That's the question. I mean, until yesterday, a lot of runs late, like you mentioned, and that kind of pumped the brakes on me looking at this, but I still like it. The first 5 under 4, it's at even money. You get probably 4.5 minus 125. It's just the Kuhl over games is kind of like you just mentioned, Ian. Maybe pump the brakes a little bit, but the Brewers, especially Burns and Woodruff, first 5 unders have just been money for me. So I'm going to continue to look that way. So I'm on the first 5 under 4 here.
All right, first 5 under 4, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee for Conor. We've got Colorado and Cincinnati. Next game on the slate here. We've got looks like Cincinnati minus 140 home favorites here. The total in this one is looks like it's 9 across the board. This price looks at the just at the very first glance, at least for me, it looks shockingly cheap on Cincinnati, just because of how bad Colorado's been, especially on the road. Then you dig into it a little bit, and as good as Miley's been, Miley's had a good season, really good for the Reds. 2.96 ERA, nothing wrong with that. And to have an ERA below 3 when you have most of your starts in this ballpark, which is a little bandbox, you're doing something right. However, the Rockies do have success against him. A lot of them have in the past. You go on down the list here in this matchup, and you see a bunch of bats that have done well in the past against Wade Miley. You've got Charlie Blackmon 7 for 21, 333 against him. You've seen Trevor Story 3 for 7 have success against Miley. Garrett Hampson 2 for 2. So you get concerned with some of these numbers that the Rockies have had against Miley, but it's still, to me, a pretty cheap price here for the Cincinnati Reds. Now, I know Marquez has actually pitched decently of late for the Colorado Rockies. We will give him credit for that. He has pitched better. Last 3 starts, 1.42 ERA. His overall ERA for the season has dropped significantly. His road ERA is 3.74 on the season, which is not bad at all. The problem is, he hasn't pitched bad on the road, but his team's 0-4. The Colorado is 0-4 in his 4 road starts. So to me, this is still Cincinnati or pass. To me, this is a bargain. Like Cincinnati at home, Colorado, a 5-25 road team on the year. So think about this. The team's 5-25 on the road, and you only have to lay a -140 against them in this game. So to me, it looks cheap. I'm tempted. I haven't bet it yet, but I definitely lean Reds, even though there are some Rockies that have had success against Miley in the past. What do you think here, Connor? Rockies, Reds?
Yeah, this one's interesting to me. I was kind of looking at the first 5 under 4.5 at -105. Both pitchers have pitched well. And Marquez kind of the lone bright spot, especially lately. And the last one against the A's, he pitched really well in a 3-1 win. But I got to go with the Reds, like you said. I think it's a little bit of a bargain. And if you're going to take them always first 5, I went with the full run yesterday. I'm not going to do that, but I think Reds first 5, half a run here. And if you think the Reds can get to Marquez and get to that Rockies bullpen, who have just given up a ton of runs the last few days, the Reds team total over 4.5, -109. I think that's a look here as well.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Watson says Cincinnati, they're hitting the ball like crazy right now, Cincinnati. However, on the flip side, it's difficult to pull the trigger for me because Marquez has given up 3 runs in his last 26 innings. Like, he has been terrific, and he could keep them in this one. And so I want to take this. Yeah. This price is ridiculously low for Cincinnati against this bad road team. Colorado and Colorado's found ways to lose with Marquez pitching well on the road all season because they're 0-4 in his 4 road starts.
Yes, so maybe in game, look at this.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, maybe this could be an under through 5, and then we see some runs late, like we talk about. So yeah, take a look at this one in game for sure. Reds bad bullpen as well.
Yeah, in-game over, maybe a Reds live over as well. If Marquez does pitch well, you could look at the Reds in-game instead, maybe even get a better price than this if maybe they're tied or they're trailing even after the 4th or the 5th inning, because we know the Rockies bullpen is bad enough to blow a lead. We've seen much of that from them this season. Next up, we've got San Diego, New York Mets. Joe Musgrove, Marcus Stroman. The pitching matchup here in this one, good pitching matchup here. Padres -130, road favorites, 7 the total, shaded to the under in this one. Both pitchers have been pretty solid this season. No question about that. I just don't like the way the Padres, are going offensively right now. They are just in a funk. It's a good lineup. We know it's a good offensive team, but even good offensive teams, Connor, it's a long season. You're going to go through a slump. You could be the best hitting team in baseball, and you're going to hit a slump at some point. Nobody goes through 162 games crushing the ball for the entire season. And right now, the Padres are gripping the bats a little too tightly right now. But both of these pitchers, good form. Last 3 starts, Musgrove 1.62 ERA, Stroman 1.45 ERA. Both of their overall season ERAs have been pretty solid overall. Musgrove's been terrific on the road in particular, 1.76 ERA for him on the road this season. So tough to go against that. But then you look at Stroman, 1.99 ERA at home. So this definitely looks like it could be a first 5 under spot. You're not getting a ton of value. You're getting squeezed a little bit when you're talking total this low. But I would lean first 5 under. As far as the side goes, I'd actually take a shot with the home dog Mets just because I don't like what I'm seeing at the plate from the Padres right now. So just leans, probably a game I'm staying off, but lean Mets, lean first 5 under. Connor, what's your thoughts here? San Diego, New York Mets.
Yeah, good pitching matchup, and maybe runs will be a premium here again. Like you mentioned, Musgrove's been really good on the road, and Stroman's been great, especially at home. Yeah, the first 5 under 3.5 is -120. Not a whole lot of value there. But I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to take the Mets first 5 here, +110. I just rather have them at home. They won last night. The Padres just seem like they're in a funk, yeah. And they can't hit right now. I'm just going to take a small shot with the Mets first 5 plus money here.
By the way, this stat was amazing about Jake Degrom last night. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, but I'm actually not that shocked because he's been so dominant pitching-wise this year. He has more RBIs as a hitter, than earned runs allowed as a pitcher this season.
Guys,
He
unreal.
has 5 RBIs at the plate hitting, and he has given up 4 earned runs this season as a pitcher. That is unbelievable. I've never seen that. You'll never see that again, I don't think.
Hey, I don't think pitchers should win MVPs, and but when he's getting, that's his numbers are just insane. So far he's the MVP.
I mean, we know pitchers are not supposed to be good hitters, and he's actually one of the better ones in baseball. He's actually got a plan at the plate, and he takes pitches. He's patient. He finds a pitch he likes. He hits it, and he's been good like that, Jake Degrom. But he's been so dominant pitching, and to think he actually has batted in more runs than runs allowed as a pitcher this season. That's historic in my mind. Yeah, it's seeing something like that. Incredible stuff. And he doesn't even pitch for the full game. As soon as he comes out of the game as a starter, he doesn't get, the same number of at-bats in a game at the plate where he starts as, a regular position player does. That's what makes it even more incredible, that statistic. Unbelievable stuff. And, of course, DeGrom was lights out again. He did leave that game, though, due to injury. So we'll have to monitor that a little bit moving forward. All right, Atlanta, Miami here. Max Fried, Zach Thompson, your pitching matchup here. We've got the Braves right now. We don't know if it's Zach Thomas, actually. They have
I don't have anything.
And now not totally confirmed him as the starter. We know it's going to be Fried for the Braves. And what we know about Fried is since he's come back from that injury, he's been much better. He had one little rough start against Washington that always seems to hit him hard. But other than that, he's been very, very good. I think it's probably a good spot for the Braves. I was on the Marlins. I believe Conor liked the Marlins a bit yesterday as well. I think it's the Braves spot here because, you're going to probably get some ragtag pitcher here for Miami and a spot start. And I like Fried's current form. So certainly the lean for me would be Atlanta. But again, we'll wait to see who's pitching for Miami. Conor, any thoughts?
Yeah, we'll see what the line is. I think it could be a Braves spot. Team that struggled to score runs, and they lost yesterday and scoring just 3. And I think the prior 3 games before that, they had 5 total. So a team that needs to break out. Maybe Fried throws a good one today. But I'll take a look at the line later when it comes out.
All right, next game on the slate here. We've got the as we continue on, it's the I believe it's the Angels. Yeah, Angels and Diamondbacks here. Angels -120. Road favorites here. The total 8.5 across the board. We've got 9 actually in most spots now. The total. We've got Alex Cobb, Caleb Smith. Your pitching matchup here. What an adventure with those Angels last night. I mean, I was on them full game. I thought their bullpen, for as bad as it is, it would still be better than Arizona's. Wrong. They coughed up a lead once Ohtani left the game as a pitcher. But Ohtani helped himself out, got a home run late. They tied it in the 9th. They had to sweat out extra innings. But the Angels found a way, the bottom line, and got the job done against Arizona last night. I lean to them again here. Like Arizona, look, give them credit. They rallied last night against the Angels, but they still can't win games. I mean, this team just still finds ways to lose. And you're talking about now -120. That's all you have to lay against this brutal Arizona team right now. And look, Alex Cobb he's been excellent the last few starts. He's been terrific in his last 4 outings for the LA Angels going into this start. I don't trust Caleb Smith. The Angels against a lefty, sometimes they struggle, but the last couple, actually the last week or 2 against lefties have been better for the Angels lineup in terms of their production. So I still think they could do enough damage against Smith, and hell, even if they don't, the Arizona bullpen is waiting for them to be able to score some runs against them late in the game. It's just a cheap price. I mean, the Angels are just right now in much better form than the Diamondbacks, and I don't mind laying $120. This is one of those where you ignore the pitching, not ignore it, but you look past the pitching matchup and say, come on, minus 120 with this team against this team? Sign me up. I like the Angels again here. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to bet this one, but I'd lean the Angels a little bit. I got minus 112 here with Cobb. You just can't, the D-backs just find ways to lose. I almost took that first 5 under. I only took the Angels a half a run because I was leery, and Ohtani struck him out, wild pitch, run scores. Oh, man, that was kind of a mess, but thank God it hung on there for the first 5. I might take the Angels here. I'm still thinking about this one. This one I circled. Runs could be scored. Both teams don't have good bullpens. Maybe an in-game over. And the starters aren't that great. Cobb's pitched better. His last start was a little rough, but he had been pitching better before that. Not sure. Lean Angels here.
All right. Lean Angels here for Connor Mack. Baltimore, Tampa Bay, Jorge Lopez, Rich Hill, the pitching matchup here. Tampa Bay minus a huge price, as you would expect here, minus 220. The total 7.5, 8 across the board. I think the over's in play a little bit here. Tampa Bay should damage Jorge Lopez, in my opinion. There should be they should be able to have some success against him. Jorge Lopez, 5.3 ERA on the season here for the Orioles. We've talked about him a lot. Not a guy we trust. It's actually been a little bit better lately, but I don't trust that to continue here against the Rays. And keep in mind as well, in terms of the Rays, they have a lot of good success. They've had a lot of success against Jorge Lopez in the past. Brandon Lau 2 for 3, Kiermaier 2 for 3, Mike Brasso 2 for 4. Rosarena has had a home run against him. There's a Jack of the Day candidate here. I know not a big sample size, but Rosarena to hit a homer against Jorge Lopez today. On the flip side, Rich Hill, it's tricky with Rich Hill. He's been really good. This is, and that's why I don't call him old man Rich Hill. He's been good. He deserves more respect than that. He's had a nice season. He's got a 3 ERA. He's been terrific in his last 3 starts, but he is a lefty. And Baltimore does have a big gap in their proficiency as a lineup against lefties compared to righties. So it's the profile of a pitcher that Baltimore should hit. So that's why I lean over, because I think Tampa Bay will do damage against Lopez and that Orioles bullpen. But I do think Baltimore could scratch out some runs against Hill. Hill's been good, but they hit lefties pretty well. So I do lean a little over 7.5 here. Nothing on the side. Connor, what do you think here? Baltimore, Tampa.
Yeah, I think the number's just too big here with Rich Hill. If you think the Rays are going to hit Lopez, maybe the Rays team total, it's tough to take a team like the Rays. They're not a run line team. At home here, the run line's only minus 110. Rich Hill's just been dominant. I'm thinking about Lopez because I looked at the first 5 under 4.5 here. He pitched well his last start against the Indians, but can he do it again? I'm leaning that way. I'm leaning the first 5 under 4.5. I haven't bet it yet, but that's my lean here.
All right. Next game on the slate here: Houston, Minnesota. Luis Garcia, Jose Barrios here. Your pitching matchup. Pretty close to even money right now. Houston minus 110, minus 115. Road favorites, total 9.5 here. Shaded to the under in this game. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But the Astros bullpen, you got to put them in another group of teams right now. The bullpen's not getting outs late in these games right now for the Houston Astros, and it's becoming more and more and more of a problem for them. Playoff time, that could show up for Dusty Baker's team, so they got to short up that pen a little bit. They bounced back, beat Minnesota 6-4 last night after that 12-8 loss to the Boston Red Sox. They send Luis Garcia to the mound here, who's been pretty solid this season. 1.42 ERA his last 3 starts, 2.75 ERA this season. So he's pitched very well against the as of late and all season. And in fact, they're 5-0 in his last 5 starts. The Astros with Garcia on the mound, and the Twins have never faced him. So it's usually a good thing for the pitcher. Barrios, 3.58 ERA this season, 4.71 ERA at home here at Target Field. So it's been a little bit of a struggle. How about 5 overs as well? 5-0 to the over at home this year for Jose Barrios. So his home starts, they've gone over the total. Barrios in the past against the Twins, he faced them last year. It was terrific. 1 run, 2 hits, 5 innings. So overall, he's done not terribly against this particular lineup here. It's a tough one. They've been winning with Garcia. I don't love the bullpen. So if you like the Astros, I think you got to keep it to a first 5 bet right now on the Astros if you like that side. But I like Barrios enough that I probably won't bet that. I'll probably just lean Astros first 5 here. And the total's tough. Garcia's mowing it down right now, but the Astros bullpen stinks. This could be a live over to me. That's what I'm looking at. I think Barrios might be okay early in the game against the Astros. I think Garcia could pitch well because he has in recent games. This is a live over target for me because, again, you've got that, no pun intended, at target field. Like, okay, live over target. But, Astros bullpen's not good right now. Twins bullpen hasn't been good all season, so I might feel a little bit safer with the over live in game. That's probably what I'll do because I know I'll get a better number probably with it. If these starters pitch well, I'll get a better number than the 9.5 we're seeing right now. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, I think that's a smart look. Like you said, Garcia just after starting 0-3 has been really good. Sucks yesterday. Shoemaker got scratched. My best bet got scratched. But in this one, I would go Astros first 5 again. Not a half run, just getting a -110. I'd take Garcia, but I like even better than that. I like the first 5 under 5. You mentioned runs late. I like Garcia the way he's been pitching. I think Barrios throws a good game. He has given up. He's done well against guys, Brantley, Correa, but Altuve 4 for 14. Bregman 4 for 8 with a homer. Maybe Jack of the Day, Alex Bregman. But I think you're getting a little bit of a discount. 2 good pitchers. Give me the first 5 under 5. Maybe runs late with the bad bullpens. And I like the Astros first 5 as well.
All right, good stuff. Next up, we've got the St. Louis Cardinals, Chicago Cubs. John Gant, who finally had the train roll off the tracks in his last start, taking on Kyle Hendricks. -175 home favorites here. The Cubs, 8.5 the total, shaded to the over. Gosh, and I wasn't on it. I mean, I finally said, you know what? I'm fed up with losing, trying to fade this guy. And then the moment I get off that, wagon, he ends up getting roughed up in that last start that he had for the St. Louis Cardinals. So I think that might just be the beginning of the regression train for him. I mean, he's definitely, like, his FIP and his XFIP are like 5. And his ERA for the season's 2.63 ERA. You can tell that there's going to be some regression coming his way, and I think you're already starting to see signs of that for John Gant in his last few starts. Rizzo 5 for 9, 556. There's my Jack of the Day candidate. Another one for me is Rizzo against John Gant going into this start. Wilson Contreras has hit him well, so we'll see if that continues here. On the flip side, it's Kyle Hendricks for the Chicago Cubs. Continues to be extremely frustrating. Kyle Hendricks from one start to the next. And you know what? You used to be able to rely on him pitching at Wrigley Field because he's got good numbers there. Not this year. 4.86 ERA for Kyle Hendricks at Wrigley Field. His last 4 starts, he's given up, he's been okay, but he's not been dominant by any stretch. He's given up 3 runs. Has lasted 6 innings in most starts. So we'll see how he fares here in this one. But, against the Cardinals, he's given up 3 runs or more in 3 of his last 4 starts against them. They've seen him a lot. Goldschmidt's crushed him, 11 for 32. Nolan Arenado, 7 for 27 with 2 homers. There's another guy you could circle for Jack of the Day, Nolan Arenado against Kyle Hendricks here tonight. So I like runs tonight in this game. We saw an over yesterday with these 2 teams. I think we get one here. St. Louis Cubs over 8.5 for me. Connor, what do you think here? Cardinals Cubs.
Yeah, when I saw these 2 starters, I lean the over 8.5 as well, -115. There's some guys that have really hit him, like you said. Carpenter, 3 homers. Arenado, 2 homers off Hendricks. And decent Rizzo, 5 for 9. A few other Cubs. Hendricks, -180. No way. Even Gant, I know he finally got rocked there against the Dodgers, but I'll take a shot with the Cards here. First 5 +155. I got to take it. I just can't trust Hendricks laying that. It's too big of a number, I think. I don't want the full game, but give me first 5 Gant +155 here.
I agree. I think look, Gant's not a guy I'm rushing to bet, but we're betting prices. We're not betting pitchers or teams. We're betting prices here. And this price is pretty ludicrous for the way St. Louis isn't that much worse than Chicago, and you can't tell me the pitching edge is this big for Hendricks. And that's why I like the over. It's not just Gant. I don't trust Hendricks either. against this lineup, and there are a couple bats that have hit him. So I don't mind the look towards St. Louis here, especially at the price you're getting. Next up, we've got couple of games. Actually, is there San Francisco? There they are. Okay, they are playing 2 games today, San Francisco and Washington, but there are no pitchers announced for that, so we'll skip it, and we'll go to the final game here. Texas and the LA Dodgers. Colby Allard, Trevor Bauer, your pitching matchup here. We've got obviously the Dodgers, massive chalk, minus 280 to minus 300, 7.5 the total, shaded to the over. I'm going to keep it simple. They're mashing all of a sudden the last few games, the Dodgers, at the end of the Pittsburgh series. We saw what they did last night against Fultonevich and the Rangers, completely laid waste to him. When this lineup is in the groove they're in, I think the only bet to make is Dodgers team total over. That would be the only thing I would consider in this game. Is don't worry about Bauer and Texas's lineup. Just focus on the Dodgers lineup, which is killing it right now the last few games. And Colby Allard's not exactly a guy we fully trust. 3.41 ERA, not bad actually, but I don't know if he's going to be able to shut down a Dodgers lineup that right now is feeling it at the moment. And keep in mind, they're still not fully all healthy yet either. So once that happens, you know what the capability is for this Dodgers lineup right now. Bauer, a guy you get concerned about, is the spin rate thing going to affect him a little bit? His strikeouts were down just slightly in his last start. So maybe with that in mind, you could sneak this game over the total, 7.5 as well. That's what I would lean with, 7.5 over, and also Dodgers team total over with this one. What do you think, Conor? Rangers and Dodgers?
Yeah, the Dodgers are locked in. Even against Allard, we'll see. They just are hitting well. Guys like we talk about, Lux, the whole lineup's really rolling. Will Smith, you got Bellinger back. I mean, once they get Seager, they'll be really healthy. Just the lefty, after a big bunch of runs like last night, watch it with the Dodgers. It could be, only a few runs tonight. I've seen this one a ton of times. And we'll see with Bauer. He should be able to shut down this Rangers team that's not a light hitting team. But he's one of the top guys with all this spin rate and shit on the ball. It seems like his rate's down the most. But I lean Dodgers. You could go alternate run line. That worked yesterday. I mean, minus 2.5. You're only getting plus 110. That's how crazy it is because the Dodgers are minus 300. So multiple ways. Or, yeah, over 7.5. The over was already there in the first inning yesterday. So multiple ways to try to get something here. I'm just going to stay off.
Yeah, exactly. I'm giving you options. Like I said, I don't know if I'll bet I have not bet many Dodgers games. I bet one Dodger game the last week to 10 days, and it was the run line on the Thursday game against Pittsburgh, that early game, and it came in. Other than that, I've really not bet a ton of Dodger games. But if I would, I'd be looking over 7.5, and even more so, probably Dodgers team total over in this one. All right, great analysis, Conor. That is the Saturday card. We've gotten through every game. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Hit that like button. I'm telling you right now, we've got 151 live viewers. Hit the like button. It means everything to the channel, to us. It means we're going to get more people watching in the future because we go up the search ranks on YouTube with the likes. That is important. So hit that like button, smash it. I'm telling you, nobody but us, Conor and me, the dynamic duo, nobody but us is here on weekends breaking down the entire MLB card. I guarantee you nobody else is doing that. Saturday and Sunday, every single week during the baseball season. That's worth a like all by itself right there, right? I think so. All right, Let's get to it. We'll get to Jack of the Day and best bets in just a second. Before we do that, we'll pause for messages from both Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, Southtown 101, San Antonio, Texas. When you're there, visit. Try great food, great drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke. It is the ultimate great bar that I would enjoy for sure. Southtown 101, San Antonio. Check them out. Make sure you visit Manscaped. Promo code Pub Sports to get 20% off your purchase. The lawnmower is out there right now. 4.0, the newest version. So you can go get that with your purchase. Use that 20% promo code, 20% off your purchase, promo code Pub Sports with Manscaped and mybookie.ag. Make sure you check them out, mybookie.ag, and then promo code Pub Sports. They are obviously a great time of year. NHL, NBA playoffs, both going on still. MLB on a daily basis. You've got U.S. Open golf next week, Father's Day weekend. Looking forward to that. NFL preseason's only 2 months away. It's not too early to start thinking football season. So a great time to check out mybookie.ag. Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. Mybookie.ag, and use the promo code PubSports. All right. It is that time of the show. It is time for Jack of the Day.
We'll see you later.
All right. There we go. Jack of the Day for today. I'm going to go with Anthony Rizzo against John Gant. That's definitely a prime candidate for me for the Chicago Cubs tonight. Again, it was a good day for the Jack of the Day for Conor and I, both of us yesterday on today's show. I wouldn't talk you out of that. Steven Matz or Christian Vasquez has 2 home runs against Steven Matz in the past, so you could look his way. I'm interested in that from a home run perspective as well. Go up and down the list. There's a couple. There's one other from one of the earlier games. I'm trying to see where it was here. Scope against Dylan Cease is an option. Yeah. That one, he's got 2 home runs against him in the past. So those are the main ones. Those Cardinals we mentioned are good options as well, in my opinion here. Arenado, Carpenter, guys like that. But Anthony Rizzo is my primary one. Chicago Cubs against John Gant. Connor Mack, Jack of the Day.
Well, you said it. My Jack of the Day is Nolan Arenado. I think he gets one tonight off Hendricks. And the other game I look at that you talked about, look at some Red Sox, like you mentioned. Vasquez, you get a huge price on him. I think I get JD Martinez. I think he gets a Jack today off Mats. Get those right. Maybe Bogarts, those guys for the Red Sox. I think you get a Jack or 2 off Mats. So maybe look at some Red Sox.
All right, best bet, Connor. What do you got for best bet?
I'm going to give 2 out. I'll give one because we got an early game. It's a double dip. Just give me the Giants. First 5 half a run with Gossman. I'm just going to take it, get this price down to about -110 or a little bit less. And then the later one is Astros Twins. I like the Astros first 5, but give me this first 5 under 5. It's -110. I think these are 2 solid pitchers. While there could be runs late, Garcia's been well. Give me Garcia and Barrios to pitch well early. First 5 under 5, -110.
All right, 2 best bets. Giants first 5 -0.5 a run.
Big
down
card.
Even money against Washington. And Astros Twins it's under in the first 5 innings as well for Connor Mack. So 2 best bets. And it's funny you mentioned going to give out 2. I had planned as well, believe it or not, even before you said it, honestly. Before you said it, I had planned to give out 2 best bets today because it's a dead heat between the 2 that I like the most. I consider the Giants, but it was a little too pricey. But I like that one. I consider, what else did I consider here? The Angels, but I don't know. That price is so low that it's kind of scary. But I do like the Angels quite a bit. I was gonna settle on 2 best bets, 1 side and 1 total. The side is the New York Yankees -116 against the Philadelphia Phillies. I think they get back on track. I like that after that brutal loss against Minnesota. They had a day off. You get it out of your system, and I come back refreshed, focused, ready to go today. Hit up this Vince Velasquez, who I'm still not convinced is all that good, and is starting probably to trend in the wrong direction again. A tie-on can be a little bit of a worry, but this Phillies lineup's not exactly crushing the ball right now. So it's a manageable matchup for this guy, and we see sometimes against the weak lineups he can pitch well. So New York Yankees for me -116 against Philadelphia. That's best bet number 1. Best bet number 2, St. Louis Cardinals, Chicago Cubs over 8.5, -115. I think we'll see runs in that game tonight. I don't trust Gant. The regression train is starting to hit him, and Kyle Hendricks has had a very mediocre season. And in fact, his Wrigley Field ERA is higher than his road ERA this season. So I definitely like runs to be scored in that game. Cubs and Cardinals over 8.5, minus 115. That'll be my best bet for this second best bet, I should say, for this Saturday card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the MLB Closing Time Show on Pub Sports Radio. We'll be back, by the way, in just an hour from now, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, with the NBA Pub Hub. Just one game tonight, but a very intriguing one. It's Clippers Jazz Game 3 as the scene shifts to La La Land, back to Staples Center for Game 3 tonight. Must win just about for the LA Clippers. They can't go down 3-0 in this series. So we'll tee up Game 3 of Jazz Clippers on the NBA Pub Hub, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific in an hour from now. Conor, myself, Ski, and Dutch will be on as always for that. Conor, Mac, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday afternoon. We'll see you in an hour. We'll be back for the NBA Pub Hub, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, right here on Pub Sports Radio.